Saturday Live Lounge, supported by Villa Gaiety.
Of course, that is Joni Mitchell and Free Man in Paris here on Manx Radio. It is Christy in the Live Lounge with you this afternoon, but I'm joined by Joe Garvin. Thank you so much for being with us, Joe. It's lovely to have you here. I should say you're no stranger to a studio, are you?
No.
Will you divulge just a little bit about what you were doing in your previous life?
I was a broadcast journalist in independent radio and retired from the BBC about 13 years ago.
Oh, I feel like I've got to be on best behaviour now.
Oh, no, don't worry about it.
I've got a professional in the studio, everyone.
No, retired. I'm old.
Oh, you are not at all. Do you miss it? I mean, what were some of the highlights for you?
Oh, I did lots of big trials, covered lots of big trials. And it was just everything, every day was different. Uh-huh. You got to work and you were never bored because you never knew what was going to happen. And it was just, I loved it.
I think I'm totally with you. That is one of the reasons why I absolutely love this job as well, is because, like you said, from one day to the next, you're never doing the same thing, sort of twice, which is brilliant. I love it from that point of view. Well, that's not what we're talking about today, obviously. No. We're talking about music, and we're talking about something which I have called the Isle of Man Traditional Music Festival. That's not quite right, is it?
Not a festival. It's a music weekend, and it's like loads of really good sessions in the pubs around Douglas. But we've got people coming from England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and they're all descending on the island for these fantastic sessions. And it started over a decade ago, and it was two brothers, Patrick and Andrew Knight, and they came over to the island in the 90s, and they had this party, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's ended up as these massive sessions, which should be absolutely brilliant, and it starts next Friday on the 20th.
And there's workshops, there's sessions, all sorts of stuff. There's a lot going on. How did you get involved with it? Tell us what part you play.
Well, we've been on the island about nearly 5 years, and I started going to O'Donnell's to listen because I love traditional music. And somehow I found myself on the committee for this.
So do you have a hand then in sort of organising the different events and the people that come here?
No, not really. I mean, I just help out when I can, which is why I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for being here. And part of the reason you're here is because Susan, who we've spoken to previously about it, and a bunch of others, are actually off island playing music at the moment, aren't they?
Yes, they're in Ireland, yes.
So there is a really good community, isn't there, of sort of sharing between trad musicians across the different sort of Celtic nations.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. And all these people that are coming, they all play different things, but they all know each other from meeting at sessions and festivals and all sorts of things. And it's going to be a heck of a good weekend.
It really is. Well, we'll find out more about it in just a moment. But with thanks to the various players who do go to O'Donnell's on a regular basis, because Susan and the crew aren't here this weekend, you got something rather special for us the other night, didn't you?
I tried, yes.
So who was at the session at O'Donnell's last week?
Oh, well, Mary and Susan and Patrick Knight. Sadly, his brother's no longer with us, but Patrick is a terrific flute player, and he's a regular on a Wednesday at O'Donnell's. And Darryl on the guitar, and Mick on the fiddle, Dave on the fiddle. It's just, I'm not on the fiddle, but playing the fiddle.
Playing the fiddle.
Yeah. It's just a really lovely evening.
Well, we've got a brilliant recording. Thank you so much for this. This is live in O'Donnell's from Wednesday evening, was it?
Wednesday.
From the session on Wednesday. So we're going to hear a little bit of this set from the session on Wednesday. This is fabulous. so lovely hearing that trad session. That was recorded live last week in O'Donnell's. Many thanks to Joe for getting that for us with Susan and the whole crew over there. We're talking about the Isle of Man Traditional Music Weekend, which is happening from Friday across next weekend. And Joe, I wanted to highlight the poster for this event.
Yes.
Because it features two very special people, doesn't it?
It does indeed. Andrew Knight, Patrick's brother, who's not with us anymore. He was a tremendous singer and he played the concertina. But Patrick is very much with us and still playing the flute.
And playing on this, I think.
Yeah. Yes, he was on that. He was
playing
there
on this piece
Wednesday.
of music,
yeah.
But someone who won't have been there as well, who we lost very recently, who's very dear to us here at Banks Radio, John Kaneen.
John
He
Kaneen.
also features on the poster.
Yes, bless him. He was absolutely wonderful, and he was a massive influence on the folk and cultural scene in the Isle of Man. He was responsible. He was a singer, a dancer, a musician. He organised people, and and he also played Camag. And he
have you gotten involved with the Camag scene
yet,
no. Joe?
No.
Far too dangerous.
Yeah. And he was also involved with Hunt the Wren. And last Boxing Day, he wasn't well at all. He'd not been well for a long time. And all the Hunt the Wren musicians went to his house and he stood in his doorway and they played Robin the Bobbin for him.
That's wonderful.
It was just lovely.
So well respected, and what we've been hearing over the past 2 weeks or so since we lost him is how many people he inspired musically and led sort of on a musical journey and a musical path that they may not have been on if it wasn't for him.
No, he was an absolutely fantastic man. He was a neighbour really of mine, and I used to pop in and see him quite regularly, and Mary Malloy decided that we had to get him out of his house. So we organised a party in the park opposite the house, and he played there, and all his musician friends came, and it was just a beautiful afternoon.
Oh, what a lovely thing to have happened. And it's so lovely that you're honouring John on that poster there. So the weekend itself, then, as we said, it starts on Friday. Yep. Not just about sessions, there is a lot going on, isn't there?
There is. We've got workshops as well. We've got tune workshops and etiquette. I'm not quite sure what
I'm intrigued.
Set dancing workshops as well. So, and there are limited spaces on that, so you need to call to book.
Whereabouts is it all happening?
That's happening at the Welbeck, and we've got sessions at the Columba Club on the Friday. Saturday is O'Donnell's, the Bridge, and a singing session, which is a new idea, at Hops, which is opposite O'Donnell's. And on Sunday, it's at the Prospect all day, 1 o'clock until
That'll be a good old
over.
knees up, won't it? Until you fall over.
Yeah. And on Monday, there's a survivors session at Quids Inn.
Brilliant.
Not sure how many will be there, but it was quite good last time, I think. Yeah, so anyway, if you want to join in with the workshops, which thanks to Culture Vannin have been... You know, this
is how they're happening,
bit of money from there, which is very welcome. You need to book, and you can find out. Look on the Facebook page, Isle of Man Traditional Music, and you'll get all the details there, plus the number to phone to book for a workshop.
Brilliant. And you mentioned, obviously, the survivors and the party and that sort of thing. And that's because trad music can be so uplifting, and it does just make you want to move, and it's got a great sort of party atmosphere, hasn't it? So you've got that terrific element.
Yeah.
But then also you have those moments where somebody sings and there's a piece of folk music which really kind of touches you, and it can really drag you in, and just, I don't know, it can be a beautiful, beautiful thing listening to someone sing a piece of folk music. And what you did record for us last week as well at the session was Susan herself singing a song. Do you know much about this song that we're going to hear now?
I don't really. Susan sings so beautifully. Everything goes quiet. And you just sit and listen. It's just lovely.
It's gorgeous. Well, let's hear this, and then we'll remind you again of the details of the Traditional Music Weekend, which is happening from Friday. This is a live session recorded at O'Donnell's last week.
Wherever we go, wherever we bide, whatever the wind and weather, wherever we go, sun breaks the sky, and it's safe once again to weigh anchor. Wherever we go, wherever we bide, whatever the wind and weather, wherever we go, wherever we bide, we'll travel these ways together. And when the snow comes skirling in, and it buries the path that you've chosen, I'll light us a fire to keep us warm, and we'll wait till the ice is unfrozen. Wherever we go, wherever we bide, whatever the wind and weather, wherever we go, wherever we bide, we'll travel these ways together. And when the storm has blown away, and the night is as still as you're sleeping, I'll pluck out the scalp of the moon from the sky, and I'll give it to you for safekeeping. Wherever we go, wherever we bide, whatever the wind and weather, wherever we go, wherever we bide, we'll travel these ways together.
Nice one, Susan.
Oh, two things I love about that. First of all, that you hear the bell ringing for last orders in the background. Secondly, that the dog barks approvement at the end of the song there.
It was my dog.
What? You've got a music-loving dog there, Joe.
Yes. Yes, I've got two, actually.
Oh, it's fantastic. That was Susan singing at the session last week, but it's it's one of those perfect examples of how everyone joins in with trad music, and you don't have to be an expert player, do you?
No, not at all. No, I mean, occasionally I do it as well, and I'm definitely not an expert.
So the trad weekend coming up from Friday across the weekend, as you mentioned, the sessions as workshops, but you're not expecting everyone to be professional musicians to turn up to this, are you?
No, everyone is welcome to. If you just want to listen, that's fine. If you play something and you want to join in, great. You know, that's the whole point of it, is inclusion. Mm-hmm. And I think this island is very good at that.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Especially with you having moved over here, you'll have experienced the sort of, I don't know, seeing what the island has to offer with fresh eyes, and the talent is extraordinary, isn't it? I'm always saying this, I'm bleating on about it, but it is true, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's amazing, the number of people, and it's the way they keep the Manx traditions and the music and the dancing and everything. They keep it going. And the youngsters, I mean, they're just exceptional, aren't
Mm-hmm.
they?
Oh, they really are. They really are. We're very lucky to have them over here. So before we hear our final piece of music, just remind us again where people can go to find out all the details about the Isle of Man Traditional Music Weekend.
Well, the best thing to do is to have a look at the Facebook page, which is Isle of Man Traditional Music.
Mm-hmm. Simple
and
as that.
everything's on there.
And there's so much going on. It's going to be super busy, isn't it?
We're going to be absolutely exhausted at the end of this.
But very happy. And it's okay. There's a Survivor session on Monday, so you'll be fine.
Mm.
You're not so sure. Well, listen, I'm going to play out with a single by the name. This song is called Coast Road. This tune, rather, is called Coast Road. And this is Elizabeth Davison Blythe and Daniel Quayle, who regular listeners to Manx Radio will know from our Friday Manx language programme, Ceol is Cúis, chat and music here on Manx Radio. And you are very much aware of this yourself, aren't you, Joe?
Oh, yes. I love this track.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those moments you mentioned that you know them, and you know, sort of the community is part of the community of music on the Isle of Man, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's wonderful. I love it.
Oh, well, listen, thank you for coming and sharing your enthusiasm and passion for the scene over here. Do go along to the weekend. It's going to be fabulous. Whether you just go and watch, because obviously that's part of it as well. Just go and watch and listen and enjoy. Maybe do a bit of a jig when things get a bit energetic. You know,
Absolutely.
we welcome a bit of a jig, bit of a ceilidh on the go. Or if you want to get involved, please do. This could be the start of something for you. Guramai Murad for being here with us. This is now Elizabeth Davison Blythe, Daniel Quayle, and the beautiful The Coast Road. Elizabeth Davison Blythe and Daniel Quayle from Off of This Parish. That is the tune The Coast Road, out now from all good music providers. Bandcamp in particular, they've got some good stuff on Bandcamp. And many thanks to Joe Garvin for telling us all about the Isle of Man Traditional Music Weekend. It is from Friday right through till Monday. They weren't able to run it last year for various reasons, so it's great to have it back again. And there is so much to enjoy. Just check them out on Facebook, as Joe was saying. And as ever, I will share a podcast of my chat with Joe after the show this evening. So if you missed any of it, you can go back and listen again.
Saturday Live Lounge, supported by Villa Gaiety. Keep up to date with the island's premier entertainment venue by following us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.